Greetings.
Hello, this is a new episode of Patou's Devlog,
Yeah, that's right.
and this time we like to talk about our hero and savior, the fog,
Oh, right.
and also volume effects, which we explain later. But let's first start with the fog. Fog is in our game a very important symbol because our game is about memories, and there's also a brain fog. Or
Okay.
at least it's about forgetting stuff.
Yeah, and then
because
clearing the fog would be cool.
because in Patou, what you do with Patou the dog that we show hopefully next diary, we and I forgot what I wanted to talk about. Brain fog. No, the fog is important because with Patou you're digging out memories. And for that, we use fog as a symbol, so it's just more than adding an atmospheric effect.
Absolutely.
And for that, we start with our very old level that we did last year around this time.
Let's check it out.
It's pretty cool. I love it.
It has its qualities.
Friedrich, talk about the fogs we are using there and why.
Okay, this is actually like a very old prototype, and we already used the volumetric fog and mist 2, which is an asset that I really like, and the developer is very helpful when they need new features or have problems. So
Can you say the name
can
of
recommend
the tool?
Connect.
Cronect.
That's the name of the developer.
Okay.
Anyways, this fog is this what you see on the floor. And it's actually a volumetric effect, which means it's not in the screen space, so you can actually wade through, and the camera can go through and still be foggy and so on. This one even has terrain fit, which means it fits over the terrain height, so that it looks much cooler than when you just have one height.
Also, it's the clouds. The clouds uses the same system, right? Can you show it?
Yeah, but we actually want to change that.
Yeah, we wanted to ask if anyone has a cool tool for the clouds, but maybe we go to that to the end. So,
what you can see, I can just check the terrain fit, uncheck it, and then it looks like this. So terrain fit to the rescue. And it also has a fog of war feature, so we can not only paint it so that things are gone.
And we can show that in the overworld.
Okay.
In the other level.
It also has, you can also define features.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, right. You can walk through the fog and clear it on the way.
Yeah, and the game remembers where you have been. And it was actually a pretty cool feature because we thought you clear the memories you go through, but people were actually very reluctant to go into the fog to clear it. For them it was no, I can't go there. So it didn't really work the way we intended it.
It's also always the problem that you think of, okay, now people know where they were and where they have to go to, but that doesn't work. It's not like, okay, I cleared the fog over there, that means I came from there. People don't really like that.
It's always the cool game design theories that sound so nice, but they don't work.
And one of the biggest problems with these kinds of fogs is this one doesn't render into the depth, which is...
It doesn't fade out.
Right, it doesn't fade out with the screen space fog we have here, which uses another fog effect. Yeah, this one is the screen space fog that you put into the global volumes or the volumes in general of the post effects of Unity. This is this one. And you can actually just say, don't render render the screen space fog over everything, so it would fade out, but that has other problems, so we don't do that. And this way, the screens, the volumetric fog is always rendered, which doesn't look nice in the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to show the overworld? We call it overworld. It's like our hub level.
Yeah.
Where you come back every time to find out new memories.
So this is the scene that we actually have now.
Yeah.
It still uses the volumetric fog, of course.
And this time it's painted. It's using a fog map. It's just a black and white map, and it's using the terrain map. And you can draw it, and I painted like it on the water, so it looks like the water is having mist on it,
Yeah.
right?
So we could paint here, but I don't show it now. And we use a different screen space fog now. This is this one here. I think it's called atmospheric fog. Somehow it doesn't use the post effects by Unity,
Yeah.
but some other thing. I don't know what. It's volume based. So if you want something for the whole scene, you have to just make a very big sphere, or I think it actually just moves along with the camera. And this one is overall a bit nicer to use.
Why? Why was it
I
better for you?
think the effect is nicer. It does look nicer overall. We did some tests and it has some better settings, at least for us. So.
Yeah.
And it still has the problem with not rendering stuff into the depth.
Yeah.
But I asked the developer of the volumetric fog, and they added a max distance. So we can define into which distance the fog is rendering.
Yeah.
So this is solving the problem in a somewhat hacky way. And overall, all these screen space fog effects both actually have functions that you couldn't use in your shader. So if you have, we have these funky little highlight effects that render, that use a function in the shader graph that actually uses the fog, the screen space fog settings, so they blend out in the distance.
Yeah. That's really a problem, like transparencies anyway with the fog.
So this is the overall theme.
That's the overall, and what we wanted to show you as well is how we handle like atmospheric effects. I mean, for us, fog is also like an atmospheric effect.
Totally.
But we also have, like in Patou, you have actions. Like for example, in this level, you're going to rescue Patou. You see him for the first time, and we want to have a change of mood and atmosphere because at the beginning everything is a bit sad because the dog is captured, of course, and you have to rescue him. And after the capture, we want the scene to look much nicer, or maybe there's also memory bubbles that you go into, and we want the atmosphere to change.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Yeah, well, Unity has this volume system, right, which is camera based. So you define a sphere somewhere, like let's 3D object sphere, and you can use that as a trigger and make like add a post effect, and if the camera enters it, the global effects, the post effects that you add will be blended nicely. But it's camera based, which is for a third-person game where you can move the camera freely, not that fitting for us. So I created my own system, not very crazy, just a system where I can blend these post effects and some other things like the light myself. So I just have to add a Atmos change zone, I call it. And as soon as I go into, I can, for example, change the music. I don't do that now, but I could add light. So I have a light, and let's say a directional light. And as soon as you enter it, usually it would change the effect, but of course it has to be set up from the beginning. So let's just copy this, close it, add it again, and go in here. So every time you enter the light changes.
Yeah.
And if I really want to check out how different settings look like, I can change them too. Like the intensity. Okay, no, that's
I'm
too
still
much.
not a fan of the sun and the
Yeah, sure. It's
colors.
all work in progress.
Yeah,
right?
totally, absolutely.
So okay, as soon as I enter the zone with the cage, the atmosphere is dramatically changing.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about the screen spice fog that we are using, it uses presets based on materials. So we can add a fog from another scene, let's say the intro. So if I enter it, the fog in the surroundings is changing. It's a bit more subtle, but it does work.
Yeah.
I mean, I could also use the other fog that we have. Fog, overworld. To make it more clear, it gets darker in the overworld.
Yeah.
I could even change the sky. And one thing with the sky is that it also changes the global illumination
Yeah.
somehow. And this is a step that needs calculation. So I do it with a fading, just so there's no because then it would jump from one.
Yeah.
You can't really blend it if you have two different kinds of sky. Like we have one cube map for the overworld. Let's check. This is which one we use? The galactic one, right?
I think it's galactic, yeah.
Let's check it out. So now the whole atmospheric light, the ambient light is also changing as soon as you enter it, and it's a much more jarring effect, but still effective.
Yeah.
Of
I think
course.
it looks better than a bad blending.
Yeah,
Maybe the blending color could be changed. Maybe this time I would rather use black or something.
yeah. Yeah, sure. We can change it to everything we want. Let's do this one. So yeah, it's a lot of experimentation, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's our system.
Mhm.
We use just some kind of custom volumes, mostly based on spheres, but I think we can also use boxes.
But it's also super effective.
And it's
I really love
very
to work with them. It's really cool how much is changing and how that sets a tone to the scene and
Yeah.
makes the cage that looks very unspecial right now
Right.
more important.
I can also add the post effect stack by Unity, and this way it's all scripted now. It's not based on the camera.
Mhm.
I just add like, okay, I want this here to be much more blurry, and this would be just adding a object with a post effect.
Yeah. All right. I think that's
Cheap stuff, but effective.
very effective. I think that's everything for today. Like clouds is the topic. We are still searching for nice clouds to do them because the volume clouds from the fog, they are very expensive.
Yeah.
And not always fitting for what we want to do. So we look for cheaper clouds. So if you have a recommendation, tell us.
We want to hear it.
You can write it in the comments. Yeah, that's everything from us this week.
This week?
What?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks from the
Yeah.
last diary, definitely. All right. So have fun, enjoy your week, and see you soon.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.